Honourable Malcolm Turnbull MP, Leader of the Opposition, the Honourable Bill Shorten MP, other Members of Parliament, ladies and gentlemen of letters, our special guests, and of course Tomo, Heinzie. Welcome everybody, good morning. It says here that I should say now my name is Russell Crowe. I'll skip that bit. I have a history with Andrew Forrest. It seems always connected to some gift of largesse of Andrew's or some plan to help other people. And it's been my great pleasure over the years to help him with projects like Generation One and like War for Freedom. And we're here today to hear an incredible announcement about this next step forward in Andrew's system and habit of giving. I would like to please invite the Prime Minister to come up and address us all. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Prime Minister.
Well, thank you very much, Russell, and Andrew and Nicola and Grace Forrest. We are here on an extraordinary moment of love, of generosity and leadership. Your love, your generosity, your leadership. And we're here assembled, leaders of your nation, Bill Shorten, the Leader of the Opposition, so many of my parliamentary colleagues, here to thank you for this extraordinary act. Now, in this building, we dispense with billions of dollars. We raise it in taxes by compulsion. It's not an optional matter. And then we spend it on good causes, on health, on education, national security and social welfare. And every dollar we spend, government spends, will buy as much as a dollar that a philanthropist like Nicola and Andrew give. Buys the same amount. But what you give and what other philanthropists give and what other people whom you will inspire give comes with their love. This is not extracted from you by force of law. This is a matter of conviction, of your love and your commitment. Your recognition that yes, you have achieved extraordinary things to build your iron ore industry, Fortescue Metals, to build that in such a short time, to be one of the greatest exporters in Australia. To do all of that is extraordinary enough and has created thousands of jobs for Australians and billions of dollars in exports. But then to recognise that despite so much of your achievement having been the result of your hard work and your determination, and thus your just reward for your efforts, you've nonetheless recognised that all good fortune comes with an element of fortune. And that all of us, no matter how successful, know that if life's wheel had turned somewhat differently, we could be much less well off, much less well situated. All of us who have done well have been blessed by good fortune. And so the generous person, the loving person, gives back. And we thank you for the leadership you've shown and the scale on which you've shown it. But as Grace was saying earlier, obviously those to whom much is given are able to give more. But all of us should seek to do as much as we can with what we have. So this is real leadership. This is leading by example. Now, Andrew and Nicola Forrest are making a donation today of $400 million. This is the biggest single philanthropic gift in our history and the largest donation by Living Australia. It is a game changer in the Australian philanthropic community, and it will change the lives of thousands of people here in Australia and around the world. The funds will be dispersed as follows: $75 million for coordinating World Cancer Institutes to make lethal cancer history for the coming generation. $50 million towards building stronger communities. $75 million for higher education and breakthrough research. $75 million towards giving every child their best chance. $50 million towards creating equality of opportunity amongst all Australians. And $75 million towards removing once and for all modern slavery from human history. Now, your passion and commitment goes beyond these extraordinary generosity. You've not only been generous, you have been committed, and you've shown your conviction in advocacy around the world. It's one thing to have the moral fibre to speak out against slavery, but Andrew and Nicola don't do things by halves. They've stood up to the people smuggling business models whose structures make modern slavery possible. Your work has enabled more people to walk free. You've brought the abhorrent business practice of modern slavery out of the dark and into the light of boardrooms across the world. Your work through Generation One has enabled individuals and communities to thrive through employment. But more importantly, you've challenged the racism of low expectations that not only holds back Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Australians, but which holds us back as a nation. As Prime Minister, I've seen the depth of talent, the innovation, the resilience of our first Australians. There is not a single Indigenous experience in Australia, and you've challenged businesses and governments to commit to practical ways to give our first Australians dignity through employment. And you've led by example and you've inspired, and we have adopted your vocational training and employment centre model. Your support for Thrive to Five is changing the way we value parents as first teachers and the early childhood education and care sector so that all children get the start in life they deserve. All of this and so much more Andrew and Nicola seek to achieve with this $400 million gift to society. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Nicola. Thank you, Grace. Thank you for your family. And I want to thank Nicola as well for her work on my community business partnership, as you encourage those who can give to give more and give more strategically. The power of philanthropy to change lives, to change society, is perhaps even greater than that of government, because it comes with the love of the philanthropist, a love of mankind. That's what the Greek means for the word philanthropy. This is an act of love, it's an act of generosity, and above all, it's an act of leadership that will inspire other Australians, now and in the years to come, to show their love by helping those who we can support and we can advance through that commitment of love for mankind. Thank you, Andrew, Nicola and Grace and your family for this extraordinary act of generosity. Thank you.
So, the man himself. Hanging out with Andrew is always a fun experience. He has enthusiasm for the things that he's passionate about, which is absolutely infectious. If I could ask you please to welcome the man of this particular moment, Andrew Forrest.
Ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you obviously as your servant. I've been very fortunate with my wife Nicola to be able to accumulate capital, and then as soon as we could to commence giving it away. We had a slightly unsustainable business model previously where we'd actually borrow money to give it away. And fortunately we don't have to do that now, thanks to the strength of the iron ore sector, the leadership of this country throughout the ages, that word I would like to introduce more commonly into the dialogue of leadership is courage. And I want to thank you, Prime Minister, for using the word love with such alacrity, with such enthusiasm, passion. I don't hear it much in business, I'm sure. Leader of the Opposition, Prime Minister, we don't use it enough in politics, where politics sometimes gets over the top of leadership. But the fact that Bill and Malcolm, you're both here, shows our country working together in a bipartisan way. And I really want to thank you both for your attendance and for this mutual bipartisan show of support for philanthropy and building our communities from the roots up. So thank you. It's with that love, Prime Minister, you've spoken of with such courage that I do introduce Ron DePino. Ron, till very recently, ran MD Anderson, the largest cancer research centre in the world, and joins us in the Eliminate Cancer Initiative. Ron stands tall amongst all his world-leading peers. I personally think he's the best in the world as a cancer scientist, because he leads with such vision, such clarity, and he knows that this is a very bad day for cancer and a very good day for patients. Can I also introduce Jacinta Price, who is an outspoken, wonderful Indigenous elder leader, lady, who just says it how it is. We have to remove the obstacles. We have to step away from ideology and politics. As Prime Minister Kevin Rudd said when we launched the Australian Employment Covenant all those many years ago to drive for 50,000 jobs for Indigenous people, we hope this is the death of ideology. We hope that ideology does not further stand in the road of removing drugs and alcohol from our communities, removing the obstacles such as not sending your kids to school, being seen as okay. All these fundamental things which are in our control can happen if we as a community believe in them and step over ideology to get there. I'd like to say, Jack, you're just an outstanding Australian. It amuses me you're the first male centrefold in 1972. There's nothing that Jack wouldn't do, and he speaks of his community, his Australian community, with such power and clarity. I know Professor Donna Cross epitomises that incredibly important journey of a child from conception to 5. There is no part of a person's life which will better prepare them for the challenges of modern society, for being a wonderful, warm, empathetic human being than conception to 5. And Donna is here with Professor Jack Shonkoff from the Harvard Child to Development of the Child Centre in Harvard. And I think Professor Shonkoff is without peer also in early childhood development, and Donna will introduce him. I have an old friend of mine here who is called Dulcie. Dulcie's from Mexico, doing absolutely breakthrough research as part of a scholarship program. Look forward to hearing from her. And of course, Sarah, proud to be called a survivor of modern slavery. And I look forward to hearing from all of you. I know you will speak with your soul, with your heart, with your passion, and also your incredible love for our fellow man and our fellow Australians. I stand here only because I've had the magnificent support of Nicola. I've asked Nicola to have the last word, as she always does with me anyway, and to thank all of you. And Grace, never forget that you inspired our walk on modern slavery and are the co-founder of Walk Free. Ladies and gentlemen, the fact you're all here shows your love for philanthropy, your love for Australia, your love for our communities. And I just simply say to all Australians, give what you can, and if it isn't money, time is just as valuable. Thank you very much.